You know, one of the problems that we're facing now is there's a lot of competition for businesses around our area with what's happened at the Annapolis Town Center Parole, which it isn't exactly the town center. Um, it's really hurt some of the businesses. So we need to rethink and to try to create an environment where businesses want to come back to make the downtown Annapolis Business Center what it really ought to be. I can tell you as a downtown resident, I understand the importance of a vibrant business community. We that live downtown couldn't afford to pay what it's going to cost to keep the city moving if we didn't have businesses to help underwrite that. So I think it's very important.
Well, I think the need is really because we are in a really competitive environment now. The economy's been tough nationally and worldwide, and if we're going to compete locally and nationally, we have to have the best organization possible, and I think this is the right step.
The City Council was united in recognizing that a public-private economic development corporation was the way to go. And because we were all united working towards a common goal, we were able to pass the legislation unanimously. The Economic Development Corporation incorporated on July 30th. So really, in less than 8 months, an idea went from start to finish. That was a pretty big idea, and it shows the commitment of the City Council for this. The City Council appointed the initial board members. The board then appointed the remainder, and their first order of business was finding the right person to run the day-to-day operations.
Well, the most important thing is for us being able to listen to the community, to see what the community wants, what the business community, what the residents want, because economic development is just like the weather. Everybody talks about it, but nobody is doing anything about it. So we decided to do something really seriously, something about it, and the formation of the corporation was the first step. And putting the rest of the board members was the next step, and now having our president and CEO on board is a critical step towards accomplishing the goal of doing something for the city of Annapolis.
I've been so impressed with the Annapolis Economic Development Corporation. I had the pleasure of coming out and meeting with the search committee back in October, and now here it is a little over a month later, and I'm now going to be a resident of Annapolis. I worked in Rockville, Maryland. Started my career in Wisconsin, spent about 11 years in the DC metro area, so it's good to come back to Maryland, but more importantly, it's great to be in Annapolis.
One of the nice things about Laura is that she has been in economic development for so long in places like Montgomery County, Northern Virginia, where she had to work with the government and with businesses to build a collaborative effort to make the business climate in those locations more business friendly. In other words, from government perspective, as well as the business private sector understanding what the needs of government are. She's been great at building those collaborations and bringing and attracting businesses and expanding the existing businesses. So we're very excited about her coming on.
One of the things I like best about her is that she has worked with Main Street programs before. We worked very hard to get the Main Street program here and nothing has happened, and it's kind of an embarrassment. So getting the Main Street program and getting the Arts and Entertainment District up and running is another very critical first thing that this group has to do. So they've got a lot of work ahead of them, but I'm optimistic. Very good board, very strong board.
There's tremendous excitement. I think part of it is the fact that we're Annapolis and we're the capital city. Part of it is the fact that the board members are some real heavy hitters. We have some real community leaders who own small businesses here in the city. They're well established and well respected within the city. We have people with international business expertise, people who served in Governor O'Malley's, on state commissions for Governor O'Malley. We have one of Governor Ehrlich's cabinet secretaries. So we have some big firepower on both sides of the aisle. Mike Lofton's on the board, the former director of the county's Economic Development Corporation. So we have people on the board who lend the corporation instant credibility. And I think the board members and the work that they've done really are the reason why you're seeing such excitement here tonight.
The first thing they need to do is get the staff that they need to develop the metrics. We need to know where we are now before we can figure out where we're going to go. and then we need to know where we are now before we can figure out whether we've been successful. And so I think that's critical, that we get those metrics. And the board has heard me argue this over and over, metrics. The metrics will also help the council make policy. So getting that staff, then I think they have to work hard to win the trust of the business community. I mean, this is a new entity. And so we need to show the business community that we mean business. We're going to have to come with things in hand, like very low-cost loans and things that will help them develop their businesses.
Tourism is economic development, and I think everyone on the Economic Development Corporation understands that. The beauty of what we do that's different from other organizations and other industries is that the dollars that come in from visitors are dollars that would not be here otherwise. It's not money that's recirculated into the community. It's dollars that are generated by people visiting here. So they need to know that there are shops and restaurants of a quality that they want to come and visit and spend money in. And I think the Economic Development Corp understands how integral the businesses they develop and bring in here and attract have to do with visitation from visitors outside of the area. So I'm looking forward to a great relationship. And Mayor Cohen understands what we're all about. He knows that tourism's economic development generates dollars. So I'm very excited about the opportunities.